You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody. Jim here to start my preview of the big, spooky summertime event at DC Comics, and I'm talking about Night Terrors with a K. I'm going to have this in two parts. This first part, we'll talk about what Night Terrors is in general, and then go through the solicits of the main event book, and then I will come back with a part two, where we'll go through each of the individual books that will be tying in to the Night Terrors story, as well as talk about some of the books that will continue unaffected by the Night Terrors event for those who aren't involved. And I've talked to people. Some people are excited about this. Some people, like myself, are waiting to see. But there are some people who have already said they don't want any parts of it. And that's up to each and every one of you individually. A lot of people get event fatigue. A lot of people don't want a spooky story in July and August, though I will debate that those are the spookiest months of the year. But with all of this, as I said, this episode will go through the main event book and talk generally about what this is. And so we'll start with what is Night Terrors. Night Terrors is a DC Comics event spearheaded by writer Joshua Williamson, with the core Night Terrors storyline taking over the DC Comics line of books during July and August, the spookiest months of the year, as the death of one of the superheroes' earliest villains leads to an investigation that stretches beyond the veil between life and death, leading to the debut of a new villain called Insomnia. So we end up having the main event book written by Joshua Williamson. You might know him from the last DC event, Dark Crisis, but also he is writing the current Superman book in the Dawn of DC that I do recommend. I really enjoy it, but also known for a very long run of Flash during the DC Comics Rebirth era, among other things as well. But he'll be the main deal. He's the architect of all of this, and he already started out the event with a sneak peek story in this year's free comic book day issue. It's a story that involved Batman and Damian. It's not necessary to read that, but if you can get a hold of it, it's kind of a cool deal to whet your palate, whet your appetite, as they say. But the big stuff starts this week as I'm recording this on July 4th with Night Terrors First Blood #1. It is an oversized one-shot, $5.99. It is 48 pages, written by Joshua Williamson, art and cover by Howard Porter. This is what the solicit says this is all about. When Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman find the body of one of their earliest enemies inside the Hall of Justice, their investigation takes them past the land of the living, beyond the land of the dead, and directly to a new villain called Insomnia, who uses his powers to engulf every single hero and villain in their own dark and twisted nightmares. The only way to save the world is to call for the help of an unlikely hero, Deadman. So that sets up the whole event. It's going to be a Freddy Krueger-style nightmare deal going down, and we'll have to see what all that means. We'll have to see what's going on with Insomnia, who I have seen, and he looks a lot like a cross between, say, the Creeper, Craven, and Manchester Black. And I'm telling you, the three of those put together, not a handsome man. I'll tell you that right now. But that's the big kickoff. That ends up coming out this coming week, July 4th. And I think that it's one of those things where I'm not going to tell people what they should and shouldn't buy. That's up to everybody else. Everybody has their own situation. Everybody has their own hopes and dreams, right? But if you are at least slightly interested, maybe just pick up this Night Terrors First Blood #1, check it out, and then just go from there to the next deal. And then if you like that, just go. Maybe go there. If you read this and don't like it, then you're done. You know you're not going to like any of it, really, if you don't like that first kickoff one-shot. So maybe just give that a chance. I will be. And just as an aside, too, I didn't say about the whole deal of reviewing these. We will be reviewing all of the issues here on YouTube, on our podcast, and or on our website. So if you are interested, not reading it, but want to see what might be good, bad, or indifferent, you can go and check out reviews from Weird Science on all those deals. I will put links to that in the description of this video. But following that one shot, you end up going then to a 4-issue main series, mini-series, again written by Joshua Williamson, and it is just called Night Terrors. And you have, as I said, 4 issues written by Joshua Williamson, art by Giuseppe Camuncoli and Casper Wingard. Each of these issues are $3.99, and the first one goes on sale July 11th. The solicit makes you end up reading it as if you're Dead Man. Dead Man's here to tell us what this is about. That kind of frustrates me a bit when you really want to know info. I know they don't want to spoil things and whatnot, but I'm not going to do an accent here. I promise I'm going to read this pretty straight through, and then we'll talk about it. Hello, ghouls and ghosts. This is Boston Brand, a.k.a. Deadman, and I'll be your supernatural tour guide across the Night Terrors stories. After that fancy special oversized issue you have to read first, the whole world is trapped inside their nightmares, and Batman and I are trying to figure out who Insomnia really is and why he wants revenge on the heroes of the DC Universe. So it's Deadman and Batman teaming up. I think that's a cool team up. This has happened in the past multiple times. I enjoyed that. And I think that one of the things going into this Night Terrors, though I laugh that it's in July and August and it's a spooky story, we don't get a ton of the Dark Universe stuff. We don't have the JLD book, the Justice League Dark book anymore. And a lot of those characters kind of show up in weird ways and stuff like that. This is more of their stomping grounds, feels right. And I think that people who are into that dark stuff, magic, all of that, they may end up getting a kick out of this. I'll just tell you, I'm not a huge horror comic fan, but I do like some of the characters like Deadman. So I'm interested in seeing what that's about. Well, that first issue is obviously followed by the second issue, again written by Joshua Williamson, art by Giuseppe Camuncoli and Casper Wingard, $3.99, and it comes out July 25th. Oh, dang. I got to do another one of these this month. Batman and I are joined by Wesley Dodds Sandman. What the heck? I thought I was the only dead person allowed in this story. I guess not. We uncover one of Wesley's oldest cases, which haunted him until the day he died, and it points us in the direction of the Nightmare Stone. But Insomnia has unleashed his own army to hunt us down, the Sleepless Knights. And this issue is their first appearance, kids. Get scared. I think that maybe Deadman's yelling out more to speculators than kids there. That's just me. But add in Wesley Dodds Sandman. All right, we're starting to get some characters in here that we don't see often in different ways. So I think that, again, that sounds pretty neat. We'll move on to the third issue. Same creative team. It goes on sale August 8th. Welcome back, ghouls and ghosts. Deadman here, Boston Brand again. My horror adventure continues as the Sleepless Knights attack us, but now I have a new problem. Batman's son Damien is furious and keeps trying to fight me. My only safe haven is the House of Horror? All right, that's okay. I wonder why Damien is attacking. I'm getting the idea that maybe he thinks that Boston Brand Deadman is the bad guy. Maybe he did something to Batman, so Damien steps in. It's probably one of those miscommunication things, but I like Damien being involved, and then goes back to what I said. He started out the story in that free comic book day story, so that's neat. Then we go to issue number 4. Again, same creative team. Comes out August 22nd. And Insomnia searches the nightmares of all the heroes for his precious Nightmare Stone. So that is the big play here. And the way that that spells out, I think that the heroes have hidden it in somebody's dreams and keeps coming up empty-clawed. Wesley Dodds Batman and I, being Boston Brand Deadman, must return to the haunted Arkham Tower. But we're done with that to confront Insomnia. But now I know why Insomnia hates the heroes. And I gotta be honest, I'm having a hard time not relating. Maybe Insomnia is owed his revenge. Now, that little bit at the end does set up the big finale of the event, which is another oversized one-shot, Night Terrors, Night's End #1, written by Joshua Williamson, art and cover by Howard Porter. $5.99, goes on sale August 29th, and it says Night Terrors Finale, special oversized issue. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, along with the DCU's other heroes, have escaped the Nightmare Realm, only to find the Nightmare League has followed them home. Now, I know that a lot of people who have been reading DC Comics might be cringing there because, boy, that starts sounding a lot like Dark Multiverse stuff, a lot like Scott Snyder stuff, metal, death metal. I hope it's not feeling so much like that. Not that I love that or hated it. It's just that I want something new. I think that most people would want new things as we go forward. But when you say Nightmare League, it starts to feel a lot like Dark Multiverse stuff, and I'm a little worried. But the entire world has become engulfed in horror, and the last person standing to take down insomnia is Deadman. But does he want to? I said you're going to allude back to that last solicit. And don't miss the exciting ending that continues the Dawn of DC mystery and introduces Dr. Hate. Wait, who is Dr. Hate? Again, red flags go up here. I'm not going to say they don't, because why are you doing this where people, one of the big plays and one of the things that people get frustrated a lot about in comics nowadays is events never do end. They never do have beginning, middle, end. The ending just sets up something else. The ending just alludes to more things, and that's what the solicit points to. But we'll wait and see. I'm hoping that this character, Dr. Hate, is intriguing enough to go forward. But all in all, I do want to get back to the Dawn of DC. And one of the big mysteries in the Dawn of DC is what Amanda Waller is doing. And I kind of want to focus on that, not a new character, Dr. Hate, but hopefully that combines in. I hope that these all connect. I hope that this all makes sense by the end. But again, that kind of does throw up some red flags. Maybe they're black flags now, like the band, or also what you would have in the spookiest months of the year, July and August. So those are the solicits for the main book. I said I'll be back with part 2 that will talk about the individual books themselves that tie in stuff like Batman, Detective Comics, Superman, Action Comics, all that stuff. But as far as the main book goes, I am a bit intrigued. I'm going to go in with a cautious optimism. I'm hoping that it does feel unique. I'm hoping, obviously, that there's an end. But I'm hoping that it's a fun time that ends up having characters like a Deadman, a Wesley Dodds Salmon, and who knows who else that could show up. I hope that it feels big, and I hope that it feels, like there was a purpose, like there was something here to explore and something to do, not just what we usually get. Oh, they're just throwing an event out there, and I'll have to tell you that at points I've kind of gone towards that side a bit. Like, why are we doing this? One of the big things that people reading DC Comics right now are worried about is that it is putting a stop to a lot of the momentum of the Dawn of DC. I'll even go further that it really felt like some of these books leading into this whole Night Terrors ended up having to kind of cut some stories at the knees because they didn't want to let them sit for 2 months in hiatus, thinking maybe people would forget about them going back. And one of the big ones that I'm talking about is the Philip Kennedy Johnson Action Comics story. Seems like it was hurried to an ending just because we were getting to Night Terrors. I wish that wasn't the case. And if we're really going to talk about it, I wish that Night Terrors was just the thing on the side doing its deal, and you had the regular books just continue, because the Dawn of DC has been really good overall. And I have mentioned that I was afraid that this Night Terrors might be more of a jumping off point for some people than a jumping on point. But maybe as we go through these previews, we'll kind of, let things go and kind of embrace it a little. We'll see. I say all this. I can't really say yay or nay until I read the books and review them myself. But I'm going to stay, as I said, cautiously optimistic. I'd love to hear what everybody else is thinking. If you're going to be involved, if you want to get involved, or you're going to try out maybe just that first issue that comes out this week. I don't know. Let me know. And in the meantime, if you want to keep watching some videos that we do here on Weird Science, why not subscribe? Why not subscribe? That's not as scary as, say, Night Terrors with a K, right? So hit that subscription deal, like the video, and really let me know what you think of Night Terrors in the comments below. And I will be back with part 2 in the next day or so, detailing all the solicits for each of the tie-in books. So thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.